Hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new. This is The Story Continues, number 52, I hope. Happy Friday. We made it through the week. I hope your week was manageable. Mine was manageable. It was okay. It wasn't bad, actually. It was good. And that I'm sitting here thinking about it. We have a lot to get through today. I channeled two people. I want to read for the week ahead for the collective, for Donald Trump. I want to explore the election fraud. I want to do a reading on that. And gifts for Kamala. Okay. Everything I say here is for entertainment purposes only, for informational purposes only, okay? Everything I say is alleged, even in the comments. All right. What else? If you want a personal reading, you can email me, moonlightennergy15@gmail.com, or you could click more in the description box of this video and you will see the link there, okay? But if you have no idea what I'm talking about, shoot me an email. I'll give you the link. moonlightennergy15@gmail.com. Okay. Also, if you want to send me links to your small business, to your channel or podcast, please send them at moonlightennergy15@gmail.com. Okay. All right. Oh, geez. Sorry about that. Okay. Lots going on this week. A lot has happened this week with Donald Trump, of course. A lot with the Supreme Court, yes. A lot with the courts, like I saw in the reading. That will continue. He's arresting judges now, which is wild to me. Here we are. This is where we are. Here we are. Okay, anyway, let's get into it. So I channeled, I wanted to channel Malcolm X again, and I channeled Martin Luther King Jr. Only asked him a few questions. I did channel Martin Luther King Jr. before, but I'm going to do Malcolm X first. So I did channel him a while ago, and I thought to revisit him. It was interesting, our conversation. Okay, so I'll share. He greeted me again, hello my sister, and I asked him, do you know how close we are to this ending, meaning his presidency? He said, you are closer than you think, but the real question is, how close are you to change? Then he said, everything has to change, not just the presidency. That will take time. And then I asked him, everything needs to change. How do you mean? He said, the entire government here needs to be a meeting of the minds. One side has to be willing to sacrifice their ideologies. The other side has to be willing to speak the truth. I said, you're correct. I said, will that happen? He said, yes, it will happen. Not in this lifetime, but in the next. The seeds for change will be sowed in this lifetime. Donald Trump will be the catalyst for change. He will attempt to deconstruct every system in your government. He will leave it wide open for danger. that will cause a change. Okay, so that was Malcolm X. Those are the only questions I asked him. I had asked him how or when, but that wasn't the right question. He wouldn't say anything. Not because I don't know, it wasn't, he told me in the energy I felt in the connection that that's not the correct question to ask him. So I discarded that question because he wasn't, I could tell he's like, that's not the question. Okay. But that's what he said. He will try to deconstruct every system of your government. And, well, he is attempting. It looks like that is what's happening. Very interesting. Okay. Martin Luther King Jr. The last time I channeled him, he felt very, very high. Same thing. Same feeling. The not so much emotions as I feel with Malcolm X. He's so ascended that there wasn't a lot of emotion in it. But what he said when I channeled to him, he said to me, he greeted me and then he said, he didn't say oh, but he said, you're higher. And I said, okay. Okay. I guess he meant my gifts have expanded. Because he said that you're higher. And I said, oh, okay. Yeah, I guess. So I asked him the same. I asked him, are we close? I didn't have to specify. He knew what I wanted to ask him. He said, you are close. The test placed in front of all of you is a trying one. Now is the time to decide which path to take. His words are very measured, and he speaks like this. We all know how he sounds, but it doesn't sound the same on the other side, if that makes sense, what I'm saying. Okay. I did ask him one, and he said something that aligned with the cards I pulled. But he said it in a way that was very surprising to me because he didn't really believe in astrology from what I understand. Anyway, I didn't write it down though because I don't know, it didn't feel right. Wasn't wrong, but wasn't the right question, I felt. Anyway, I asked him about Kamala. Do you see Kamala? Oh yeah, when I asked Malcolm X about Kamala, he wouldn't answer that either. Like he was he was saying these aren't the questions to ask me. But I asked Martin Luther King Jr. about her. I said, do you see Kamala Harris serving as president? And he said, yes, I do see that. She was chosen for it. It is her righteous path she will not stray from. It is her righteous path she will not stray from. Okay. I asked about, what did I ask him here? I asked him, what does Donald Trump's end look like? And he said, Donald Trump's end will start quietly, and end with noise. Everything he has been doing is nothing short of malicious intent toward the vulnerable. His time will come, you can depend on that. Okay? That's what he said. You can depend on that. And I ended the connection. Okay. I do feel that we are close to something, and I do still see that it is happening in different waves, so to speak, not all at once. Because it is getting crazy, but there feels like a wave of calm coming behind it, the chaos. At the beginning of April, I knew, I felt it, this month will be insane. I felt it. Pure chaos. But this upcoming month, I don't sense that for some reason. If you didn't see the monthly reading I did, check it out, my Monday's video, or Tuesday, uploaded Tuesday. Okay, and Tuesdays, and the story continues. Alright, so let's look at the weekly reading for the U.S. Collective. Let's see how we'll be doing that. Okay, for the week of, next week is the last week of April. May will be starting on Thursday. So the week of the 27th to the 3rd. Okay. These darn headphones. Alright, let's see how we will be doing next week. Energy for next week for U.S. Collective. Can you show me? Energy for next week. The 27th to the 3rd. 27th to the 3rd. Light at the end of the tunnel. 9 of Wands. Resilience, strength, perseverance, moving forward continuously despite obstacles, because you're right at the finish line of something on the other side, something perhaps healing, enlightening. Three more shuffles. This light is a lot. Let's lose it up a little bit. That's a little bit better. Okay. Okay. The Nine of Swords. Nine of Swords. Nine of Wands and Nine of Swords. Interesting. Three of Cups. Eight of Swords. Came up for us before. Ten of Cups. Very nice. Three of Pentacles. Teamwork. Interesting. Six of Wands. Very nice. Wheel of Fortune. Very nice. Page of Cups. Happy news. King of Cups came out in reverse here. Interesting. Seven of Pentacles. Eight of Pentacles. Queen of Pentacles. We're working our way out of something towards expansion. Four Cups. Goes here. The Devil. Where does that go? Right here. The Hierophant. Our government. Nine of Pentacles. A lot of nines. A lot of nines. 2 more. King of Wands. Ace of Pentacles. Very nice. That goes up here. It goes here. Okay, give me the ultimate outcome for the US collective. The ultimate energy for us. US collective. Nine of Cups. Nice. Some sort of satisfaction for us. Okay. All right, we have the Nine of Wands, the Nine of Swords, the Three of Cups, the Eight of Swords, the Ten of Cups, very nice. Ten of Cups, the, what does that say? Oh, it's covering it, that's why. The Three of Pentacles. Okay. Down here you have the King of Cups in reverse, the Eight of Pentacles, the Devil, the Page of Cups, the Hierophant, the Six of Wands. Up here you have the Four of Cups, the Queen of Pentacles, the King of Swords, the Seven of Pentacles, the Ace of Pentacles, the Nine of Pentacles, and the ultimate outcome is the Nine of Cups. Okay, so we'll start off over here at the beginning of the week. We start off over here at the beginning of the week with the Nine of Wands, Nine of Swords, King of Cups in reverse, the Four of Cups. Okay, there's a feeling of coming into the week. There's a feeling of like some perhaps emotional instability, feeling emotionally charged. Okay, and the Nine of Wands is our resilience, right? It is our need to go forward despite obstacles. Okay, Four of Cups on top is this feeling of, with the Four of Cups, it could be a feeling of like apathy. Okay, but really here it feels like reevaluation. Okay, the King of Cups in reverse is on the bottom here, so it looks as though whatever is happening at the beginning of this week, whatever, I don't know, he's doing over there, whatever is happening at the beginning of the week could cause some emotional upset. But I feel as though here there's, even with the Nine of Swords, some worry, some anxiety. But it also feels like a pause in terms of reevaluating our response. Okay, feels like we'll be looking at the situation that it could be worrying, or it could cause some upset, but with 4 cups is on top, and as we move into the energy throughout the week, it changes, right? It shifts, because the 9 of Swords is really a card of saying, like, you're worried and you're anxious about something, but the fears you have may not, or the things you're worried about or anxious about may not really be rational or real or true. Okay, and so the 4 cups is on top here, so it may cause us to perhaps reevaluate our response, or really look at the situation. There's something about emotions I sense here. Okay, but the 9 of Wands is there saying, despite this setback or any obstacles or upset, we have to keep moving forward, because we're like right there. We're right, the light is at the end of the tunnel with the 9 of Wands. And the 9 of Swords, it says, it's like you're still protected. Okay, so I encourage you to work through any fears and anxiety, fear-based behavior, actions, thinking, emotions, to work through them. Okay, because as we move through the week, so I would say this might be Monday, Tuesday, perhaps. As we move to the middle of the week, we have the Queen of Pentacles, we have the 3 of Cups, we have the 8 of Pentacles, and actually, all this might be connected, it feels. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Okay. Because the Queen of Pentacles, stability and security, and the 3 of Cups. The 3 of Cups is always, it has always been like peaceful protest. Let's see. Does the 3 of Cups in this reading represent more peaceful protest? Do the 3 of Cups in this reading represent more peaceful protest? Yes. It feels like a people collectively coming together, a unity. Despite this, it also feels very calm. Like, it doesn't feel it feels very calm and secure and solid. Okay, with this 3 of Cups, as we move, this, whatever this meditation or evaluation has been with these feelings, whatever this situation is, as we move to throughout the energy, we have the 3 of Cups, the peaceful protest, or this unity, the strength, it feels like, with the Queen of Pentacles on top. It feels solid and secure. Okay. This could have something to do with our economy. This could have something to do with us looking at our long-term security. Okay, and wanting to expand. 8 of Pentacles here is about expansion. We get the 8 of Pentacles often in our readings for the U.S. Collective. And I always talk about how we are expanding. Okay, and so it's like it's almost like we keep seeing these patterns, these things that this administration does. that affects our country, and our response has changed. It's been a stronger response. It's been less. I mean, people are still worried. I'm not saying no one's worried, but it's been more of a response versus a reaction, if that makes sense. Okay, so perhaps we've mastered our resilience. Perhaps we have mastered our, how we take in information, how we respond to this, with this secure, solid reliability sort of in the response, this unshakableness, okay? And it, expanding ourselves individually with our goals, perhaps, despite the nonsense and the worry. Which makes us feel stable in our footing. Okay? Alright, and so you have the devil here. I'm just gonna see if this is Donald Trump. Does the devil in this reading represent Donald Trump? Does the devil in this reading represent? Okay, saying yes. Okay. So it's covering the Three of Cups, which is supposed to represent us, the peaceful protest. Okay. The Eight of Swords is here. The Eight of Swords is feeling trapped. Okay. Page of Cups, Hierophant. Is that the Two of Cups? Why do I think that was the Ten of Cups? Okay, this is the Two of Cups. Eyes are playing tricks on me? Yep, they are. Okay. Alright, so there's some news coming out with the Page of Cups. Why do I feel like we are watching this? This is what we'll be watching. It is this here. The Devil, the Eight of Swords, the Hierophant, the government, the Page of Cups, the news, and this is the Two of Cups here. This is all connected. And I feel as though this is something we'll be looking at. Not necessarily something we will be directly involved in. Let's see. Let me ask for confirmation. There's the Eight of Swords, the Two of Cups, the Page of Cups, the Devil, and the Hierophant represent something the U.S. collective will be looking at regarding the Trump administration. Something we'll be looking at regarding the Trump administration. Saying yes. Okay, clear the center. Will it be involving some sort of news regarding the Trump administration? Will it be involving some sort of news? Okay. Clear the center. Because as we go through the week here, and the outcome is the Nine of Cups for us. This here is something that will come out. I mean, more stuff. Par for the course, Something that will come out that we will be looking at. This is the King of Swords. Why did I think it was the King of Wands? Why is my eyes playing tricks on me? King of Swords is here on top of all of this. And that literally is scrutinizing, evaluating, assessing. That's what we will be doing. That's crazy. I thought this was the King of Wands for some reason. But no, it's the King of Swords. This sort of affirms what I'm talking about. It's on top of all of this. We will be looking at this mess. Something about the Two of Cups I've labeled as like relationships, foreign, you know. Something about a relationship. Perhaps our relationship with the administration, perhaps, you know, with the government. But news will come. And we will be watching, assessing, evaluating, making judgments, using our logic and rationale, right? Moving out of the Nine of Swords energy into the Three of Cups energy. Knowing what information is valid and invalid. The disinformation versus the correct information. Can't pull the wool over our eyes. Moving into next week, okay? Up here we have the Seven of Pentacles. So this is all connected. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I would say. Alright, as we move into the week, we have the Seven of Pentacles, a lot of Pentacles, Ace of Pentacles, Nine of Pentacles, the Wheel of Fortune. Very nice. Three of Pentacles, okay, collaboration. Security, stability. Six of Wands. Six of Wands, victory. Support, cheering. Determination, confidence. A feeling of authority. Okay. Something at the end will make us feel in control with the Six of Wands. Okay. So going back up, whatever we'll be looking at with the King of Swords, the mess, whatever that is, we have the Seven of Pentacles, okay, about nourishing our long-term plans, you know, our future, okay. The Ace of Pentacles, always, I've labeled this the King to the Kingdom, the keys to the kingdom, new expansion, okay, new opportunities for growth, new opportunities for stability, elevation, okay, new beginning. Any plans we feel we had to put to the side, that won't be necessary. We may figure out next week. Okay. Nine of Pentacles. Again, we got this. We get this often. Okay, independence, long-term security, how we spend our time and attention, what we invest in. Okay, not just financially, but emotionally, psychologically, behaviorally. Okay, and the Wheel of Fortune is here. We have all these pentacles, Queen of Pentacles, Ace, Nine, with the Wheel of Fortune. Come on. Our destiny. Okay. We will be either learning about our destiny as a collective. I believe we've moved out of thinking about, this month, April, feels like a lot of introspection. Okay. And like sort of shedding old skin as we move into May. We're past introspection now. This, you know, the last 2 weeks or the last week. A lot of us have moved out of that, the introspection stage, and it feels more of us planning, taking action, moving forward. Okay. It feels very secure next week for us for some reason. We start out the week with worry and perhaps some emotional instability, perhaps, But with the 9 of Wands is here, and we're like, no, we're strong. We can get through this. We can move forward. Remember that, please, that the 9 of Wands is here. Okay? It's the light at the end of the tunnel. You're right at the end. Okay? Despite obstacles, you have to keep going. We have to. But we end over here with all these pentacles. All this solidness, security, new beginning, expansion, growth, unmovable stability through our actions. How we respond to mess. Okay? The Wheel of Fortune could turn either way, and it's based off of your behavior. But the 3 of Pentacles is here, collaboration, expansion, experimenting with confidence. Working together, okay? Something shifts big. And the outcome is the 9 of Cups. Satisfaction, contentment, emotional satisfaction, emotional contentment, enjoying your hard work. Okay. Perhaps some of you will be overindulging because you feel so good. All right. So things look good. Things look good next week for us. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. All right. Let's do Donald Trump for the week, for next week. He hasn't been having the greatest week. Like I read on. It's been rough for him. I wanted to read a quick article to you guys. He's been losing court cases. He's been ranting about judges, about the Supreme Court. And now he's arresting judges. They want to pretend that the Department of Justice it's its own thing, which is supposed to be. The president should not be involved, should not be having any conversations with anyone from the Department of Justice, but I highly doubt that is occurring. It's clear. So now they're arresting judges. So this is where we are. The FBI arrested a judge for supposedly harboring an alien, or some nonsense. But I wanted to read this quick article of the kind of week he's been having. Donald Trump's agenda suffered a triple blow on Thursday when 3 judges ruled against him in one day. The rulings came just a day after. The rulings came just a day. I have to put on. The rulings came just a day after the president slammed judges holding up his deportation plans as being engaged in a form of judicial insurrection. How crazy is that? Insane. In Washington, a federal judge pressed pause on a key part of Trump's bid to enforce sweeping changes to voting and election registration. Opponents claimed his executive order requiring people to produce a document providing their citizenship before voting overstepped his presidential authority. Putting the order on hold, Judge 𝐂𝐚𝐫𝐭 said in her 120-page opinion, "Our Constitution entrusts Congress in the states, not the president, with the authority to regulate federal elections." And that is why he signed so many executive orders, because he knows it'll be tough to pass in Congress. The U.S. District Judge, appointed by Bill Clinton, chided Trump, saying he couldn't short-circuit Congress. In San Francisco, another U.S. District Court Judge, William Orrick, barred the president from denying federal funds for sanctuary cities across the United States. He ruled that the administration was prohibited from directly and indirectly taking any action to withhold, freeze, or condition federal funds. You cannot do that. You can't do that. The judge said Trump's executive order halting funds violated the Fifth Amendment to the extent they are unconstitutionally vague and violate due process. Sanctuary cities refer to communities with laws preventing or limiting local officials from cooperating with federal immigration authorities. Besides San Francisco, there are 15 other cities and counties in the lawsuit, including Seattle and Kings County, Washington, Portland, Oregon, Minneapolis, and St. Paul, Minnesota, New Haven, Connecticut, and Santa Fe, New Mexico. In the third ruling, the Concord, New Hampshire, U.S. District Court Judge Landia McCafferty blocked the administration from cutting funds to schools with diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. The National Education Association and American Civil Liberties Union launched the lawsuit accusing the administration of violating teachers' due process and First Amendment rights. The judge said the Education Department did not even define what a DEI program is when it wrote the schools enforcing the change. Okay. So that's where we are. That's where he is. Desperate, look, everyone's just ruling against him. He keeps signing all these orders that are unconstitutional and trying to circumvent things going through Congress, and trying to circumvent the law, ignoring the law, and now he's arresting judges, and we're at this point now. We're here, and so there's a big tipping point, and I know the Supreme Court is starting to vote against him in some ways because they don't want to look foolish. He has gone over the line, and he is beginning to see that, one, the U.S. is not as powerful as he perceives it to be. He's not as powerful as he perceives himself to be. And you can't stop a war through social media. And everything he says is a lie. That, stop Putin, he doesn't mean that. He knew exactly what was happening. I know that he knew that that attack was going to happen. It's all a ploy. It is a ploy. Okay, let's see. Did Donald Trump know that Russia would attack Kiev once more? Was Donald Trump aware that Russia would attack? Saying yes. Okay. He's just a liar. He just lies. All right, let's get to his reading. Okay. All right, Donald Trump for the week of the 27th to the 3rd. Show me what his week will be like, please, energetically. Cards wanting to come out already. 4 cups. Remember, when I do readings for him, they show me his truth and the truth. Okay? Donald Trump. Three more shuffles, 8 of cups. One more. Okay. Ten of Wands on the bottom. So far we have the 4 cups. 8 of cups. Knight of Swords. The Star. Ace of Cups. King of Cups. A lot of cups. He has 1, 2, 3, 4. Lots of emotion. 4 swords. Ace of Wands. Page of Swords. Card of Intelligence and Information. He's locked in. The 7 of Pentacles always comes up for him. Let's see where this goes. This goes right here. Or up here, rather. Queen of Swords. Again. Queen of Swords comes out often in his energy. Here we go. Here we go. Ignoring his problems. Where does this go? Tell me to put it here. Knight of Cups. idealizing things, idealizing situations. A lot of cups. Very interesting. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cups. So it'll be an emotionally charged week for him. 9 of Swords. And we got the same sort of cards. Some of them. They told me to look on the bottom. They said, look on the bottom. Clear as day, they said. Interesting. They said, look on the bottom. Oh my God. 10 of Swords. They said, look on the bottom, Kimberly. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's the Knight. Okay. The Hermit. Ten of Swords. All this down here. Where does it go? Up here. The Emperor. Down here. The Devil. What else is on the bottom? King of Swords is there. That goes right here. It's gonna be rough for him. It's gonna be rough. But he'll ignore it. They said look on the bottom. That's crazy. Kimberly, look on the bottom. Okay. I knew the King of Wands was here. I knew it. I absolutely knew it. Right up here. Okay, give me the ultimate outcome. Where are we with time? Okay. All right. Ultimate outcome. 4 o'clock. Page of Wands. Some more news. Give me a clarifier for that. One more. Five of Wands on the bottom. of Pentacles. Okay, interesting. All right, so we have the Four of Cups, the Eight of Cups, the Knight of Swords, the Knight of Swords, the Star, the Ace of Cups, the Queen of Cups. We have the Ace of Wands, the Page of Swords, the Knight of Cups, the Devil, sorry, the Ten of Wands, the Sun. We have the Devil, the Emperor, the Hermit. Up here we have the Four of Swords. We have the Four of Swords, the Queen of Swords, Seven of Pentacles, the King of Wands, the Ten of Swords, the Nine of Swords, and the Ten of Swords. Okay? Alright. We have a lot of knights here. We have a lot of court cards, a lot of cups. Emotionally charged week for him. Okay? And the beginning of the week over here, the Four of Cups, Ace of Wands, the Page of Swords, the Eight of Cups, and the Four of Swords. It's really, it feels like reevaluation. Page of Swords is news, intelligence, communication, things coming out, okay? And he gets the Four of Cups energy. His Four of Cups energy is usually the stubborn sort of, Four of Cups could be apathy, like you don't care, okay? It could be you denying something that is being given to you, whether it's advice or a new opportunity, okay? And that's par for the course for him. And I feel as though, on the flip side, the Four of Cups could be reevaluation. It could look like you don't care, or you're just meditating, but that's not looking at these other cards. That's not in his energy. It feels like someone is saying something to him, and he's being unmovable, stubborn, saying no. Because the Ace of Wands is here. And this is his energy as well, where with the Ace of Wands, it's like, Ace of Wands is new beginning, inspired action, new confidence, determination, okay? It's this like, I'm gonna do whatever I want sort of energy, because I can. Okay, because you feel like you're on fire in some way, or you want to do things your way because you have the power, you have the energy and the fortitude to move forward with whatever it is you're trying to move forward to. But the Four of Swords and the Eight of Cups is here, along with the Page of Swords. And it feels like, is this his health? Let me see. Feels like his health, quite honestly. I could be wrong. Okay. Does the Four of Swords and the Eight of Cups represent Donald Trump's health in this reading? So Four of Swords and the Eight of Cups. Saying yes, swinging a hard yes. Clear the center. Will he find out? They tell him stuff about his health and he ignores it. Four Swords and Eight of Cups. Four Swords, you know, could be feeling burnt out, needing to take a break. Okay. With the Eight of Cups, there's walking, you know, the Eight of Cups is when you question, should I stay or should I go? If it's upright, you're walking, you know, I'm reading intuitively, but you're walking into something new, or you're walking away from something. And the Four of Swords is on top of it. This doesn't feel like reevaluation with the Four of Swords here. It feels like and this could be something we may not see, but it feels like the Page of Swords here, news about his health. Let me see. I need validation. Indicates a period of quiet introspection and recuperation, while the Eight of Cups points towards the need to detach from what is no longer serving you. Okay, that makes sense. Which he won't do, because the Ace of Wands is here. Ace of Wands is about vitality. Okay, and perhaps the Page of Swords is here saying, someone saying, hey, you need to rest, or you're not doing well, or and the Four of Cups is saying, I'm just going to ignore that. In order for you to get vitality with the Ace of Wands, the thing you think you have, you don't have. You need to rest and recuperate and think about, you know, perhaps letting this go, or something about his health that he has to attend to, that he may not, because the Ace of Wands is saying, and the Four of Cups is saying, I'm alright. Okay, so that's the beginning of the week. That's very interesting that I'm being shown this. Let's see. Does a Page of Swords represent test results regarding Donald Trump's health in this reading? Does a Page of Swords represent test results regarding Donald Trump's health? Saying yes. Okay. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay. Alright. Not my problem. Moving on. Alright, so this is the beginning. Maybe Monday, Tuesday. Okay, and so let's put these here real quick. And so as we move midweek, we have the Knight of Cups, Knight of Swords, Queen of Swords, Seven of Pentacles, the Star, Ten of Wands. This is all connected. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Perhaps Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Okay. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. This is all connected. Okay. We'll start here. So Queen of Swords, Knight of Swords, Page of Cups, Seven of Pentacles, the Star, Ten of Wands, the Devil, the Emperor, the Sun, the Hermit, Queen of Cups, Ace of Cups, Ten of Swords, Nine of Swords, King of Wands. I'll start right here. So this Queen of Swords is not his energy. These two here, Queen and Knight of Swords, comes out for him. If not the Queen, the King. These are people scrutinizing. This could be us very well. Okay. This could be the U.S. Collective, the Knight of Swords and the Queen of Swords. Let's see. We came out as the King in our reading, looking at whatever information was, whatever news comes out. We're just sort of looking at it like, oh. Does the King of Swords, the Queen of Swords, and the Knight of Swords represent the U.S. Collective in this reading? Does the Queen, I keep wanting to say the King. Does the Queen of Swords and the Knight of Swords represent swinging a hard yes? Okay, interesting. This feels tricky. This feels different. This energy. It feels different. The Knight of Cups is here, and the Knight of Cups. Okay, so back to the Knight. I keep jumping over. I apologize. This is Donald Trump, guys, okay? Queen of Swords and the Knight of Swords is us. Queen of Swords, we are assessing and evaluating him. We're in his energy for, I mean, I guess for obvious reasons. And the Knight of Swords is the sword of truth. It feels like it's protecting this intelligence of the Queen of Swords here. This is the Knight of Swords protecting the Queen of Swords energy here. From him, quite frankly. Interesting. 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 And the Knight of Cups here. The Knight of Cups. The Knight of Cups is about intuition. The Knight of Cups is about... Interesting. I don't think that's his energy either. That may be us too. There's something here that's us. That starts this... Does the Knight of Cups represent the U.S. Collective in this reading? Does the Knight of Cups represent saying yes? Interesting. Because I'm thinking back to the reading I just did for the U.S. Collective, and it is like a buildup of strength, right? From the beginning, and as we moved through the week, as the strength there, we had so many pentacles. And the King of Swords was there, okay? And it feels like, with the Knight of Cups here, it's like our intuition, our compassion, and it's a balance between that, our logic and our emotion and intuition, perhaps even protecting it, and this knowing here with the Knight of Cups, and this facts with the Knight of, this strategic, decisive action with the Knight of Swords. And the Queen of Swords is the evaluator, looking at the truth, looking for the truth, being able to wade through. And this is, he doesn't have that ability because he lies so much. I'm not just saying that because I don't like the man. It's just, I've been in his energy so much, it's apparent to me. He's incapable of telling the truth. Okay? So, interesting. Interesting. Okay. So as we move, these things are doing some action. This is us protecting something, okay? Our logic and the information or something we're doing. Not being vague on purpose. I literally don't know. Okay, as we move here, we have the Seven of Pentacles that he always gets. The thing he's trying to build and nurture his, dictatorship. And the Star here, the Star is his hopes, his dreams, the Star is also, is the Star an illusion? It's about your destiny, okay, your purpose, finding your destiny, finding your purpose. He will be, that's involved here. Well, he thinks this is his, there's so many things driving him. His vengeance, his grievances, he's after people. That's his one of his main number one goals. And also to become a dictator, because that he views those kind of men as like all powerful. And he wants to be on their level in that way. And so he's constantly thinking about how he could do that, but he's facing so many obstacles. Okay? And it's burdensome to him with the Ten of Wands. And the reason why it's this devil energy here. The devil and the emperor together. He's like trying so hard to, and this will be apparent next week, that he is trying to be so forceful in his authority and trying to it almost feels like we know who he is, but at the same time we don't. And this feels like that's, it's going to be apparent in a way that hasn't been apparent before, because the sun is here. Hermit, the card of deception, corruption, roguery, treason, doing things you shouldn't. Also, withdrawing again your purpose, your path, you go left or you go right, sort of thing. But I'm looking at the other cards. And it feels like, this thing he's trying to do, he's trying to force this, is so burdensome to him, or it will become apparent how burdensome it is to him. He's just not getting what he wants. He may go over the line. He's gone over the line, but I don't know. It feels serious, because the sun is here is about exposure, and the hermit is on top of the sun. Okay, perhaps his deeds really truly coming out. Let me see. Could be wrong. I don't know. It feels different. He's, even he, as part of the collective, as part of also the opposition, he's transitioning too. It feels like he's starting to see that things aren't as, he's not as powerful as he thinks he is. And I think he's slowly starting to see that. It's starting to sink in. People are opposing him more and more and more. People are speaking out more and more and more. They're not just talking, they're opposing him and stopping him. What was I going to say? Okay. Does the hermit, the sun, the emperor, and the devil represent a type of exposure that will surprise the collective for Donald Trump? Saying yes. Okay. All right, now. Interesting. Here we have the Queen of Cups and the Ace of Cups. Okay. The sun is here also, and he gets the sun constantly in that. What I understand is him ignoring the problems, him ignoring, he says, I'm great, this is the greatest, I'm getting things done, blah, 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 blah. It's narcissism. But the Ace of Cups and the Queen of Cups is here over the sun. This is about self-love, self-compassion, with the Ace of Cups, intuition, new beginnings, the Queen of Cups is here, emotional stability, compassion, same thing. I'm not sure this is his energy, but perhaps this is the face he's showing. I'm stable emotionally, but then that doesn't make sense to me. I don't know why these cards are here, these two things. Because the Nine of Swords and the Ten of Swords are on top of all of this. Especially these two cards here. Perhaps that will be the end of his, the masks, it will break finally, you know, with the 9 and the 10 of Swords on top of the Queen of Cups and the Ace of Cups. No new beginning, no real emotional stability, because the King of Wands is on there. I knew it was there, and this is his energy. Emotional, you know, again, these emotional outbursts, you know, it feels very emotional for him. The stress, the impulsivity, okay, with the King of Wands here on top of that. Like he's trying to present himself as all powerful, but it seems like it's cracking. It feels like he's finally beginning to see, like, oh, this is difficult. And he might push too far, perhaps. He might go overboard too much. That's what it feels like. That's what it feels like. I don't even think I need to ask the pendulum, because it feels pretty sure, quite honestly. The ultimate outcome of the Page of Wands and the Two of Pentacles. Okay. Again, like this impulsivity. You can't rein in. And the Two of Pentacles is trying to find a balance and trying to prioritize. Perhaps trying to prioritize. The Page of Wands is one of my favorite cards, but I always say that. I want you guys to know that. You know, the Page of Wands is the risk takers. They take risks and they are impulsive. They're determined. They're willful. Okay. They also bring news. They herald in news, good or bad. Usually it's good. But the Two of Pentacles is here. He's trying to balance. It feels like honestly, it feels like he's trying to prioritize or balance his actions in some way with the Page of Wands next to it. It's a very overwhelming feeling, okay, and it feels like a little bit of panic, a little bit of trap, like feeling like I just heard trapped animal, but feeling like trying to find a way out. Okay, that's what this feels like, because the devil's here, and he's the emperor right there, the emperor, or he likes to think of himself as that. But so next week feels tough for him. It feels like he may push too far. I'm still waiting for the line, but I think we found it, but it's something else. It's very intensely emotional, and it feels like a foundation cracking. You know, but he's gonna push on. He's gonna mush on and pretend he's the greatest and ignore his issues. Something about his health at the beginning of the week. But it's gonna be it's messy for him. We're all up in his energy, though. I'll say that. Okay. All right. Where are we with time? Okay, we have some time. I don't know how this will work, but I lost the marker. I don't know what to do. Okay, so let's see here. All right. So I want to look at election fraud. And the question I asked is, will it be, hold on. People are talking more and more about it. I said, let me read on this. I asked, will it be revealed and substantiated? Okay. Let's see what the cards say. Let's see what the cards say. Let's ask the pendulum first. Okay. Will election fraud be revealed and substantiated? Will election fraud be revealed and substantiated? Okay, saying yes. Alright. Let's look at the cards with the same question. How will I do this? Let's see. Show me. Will election fraud be revealed and substantiated? Election fraud be revealed and substantiated. Okay. One more shuffle, he said. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. Wow. Okay. I know you're like, what? Five of Swords? The Devil? Ace of Pentacles. King of Pentacles. Seven of Swords. Cheating, deception, thievery. Queen of Pentacles. Ten of Cups. The Hermit, roguery, corruption, dissonance, thievery. Five of Swords, winning at all cost. The Devil. Ace of Pentacles. So many pentacles. Okay. And what my guys are telling me here is they are trying. They're trying to keep this hidden so hard. How will this be? Okay, Three of Pentacles came out. So many pentacles. How will this be revealed? The answer is yes, okay, in the cards. So it'll be revealed. Oh, gosh. These cards fell. Four of Cups. On how it will be revealed. Okay, I'm gonna keep these right here for now. How will this be revealed? The Death card on the bottom. The Lovers. Okay. The Fool, New Beginnings. Knight of Cups. Okay. Alright, so as I asked how will this be revealed, these cards came out. The World. I'm going to put this down here. Okay? The World is about, well, I'll get to that. Then I saw the Four of Cups. Reevaluation. Introspection. Thinking. Then I saw the Two of Wands. Card of Overseas. Plans being implemented. Okay. The Lovers. A decision being made about all this. Right here. Knight of Cups and the Fool. I'm not sure that's the cards. I don't think those are. All these pentacles feels like votes, quite honestly. Ace of Pentacles, King and Queen of Pentacles. In between with the Seven of Swords, in between here. Queen of Pentacles. Perhaps news coming out from overseas. I don't see how, but it feels like, or I sense rather, that something, perhaps something from overseas will unlock this news. Something that isn't necessarily related, but the same as what happened here. If that makes sense? Does the World and the Two of Wands represent, in this reading, news coming out from overseas? Swinging a hard yes. Okay? Because it feels like something in the country overseas. And it also feels sort of subtle. Because the Three of Pentacles is on top. News will escape. And it'll be like somehow figured out that the same thing happened here. That's what it feels like, quite honestly. Like the Four of Cups and the Three of Pentacles feels as though someone looking at this. My guys are showing me introspection, evaluation, looking at, experimenting with the Three of Pentacles, collaborating and looking at something that not a lot of people know about. It's a secret almost. Things going on behind the scenes. Okay? And that's what this feels like. All of this, the King of Pentacles, the Queen of Pentacles represent the votes. And the Seven of Swords is the still, right? Let's see the visual. Do the King of Pentacles and the Queen of Pentacles represent the votes in this reading? Saying yes. Okay, clear the center. Does the Seven of Swords in this reading represent stolen votes in this reading? Does the Seven of Swords represent stolen votes? What's going on up there? Okay. Saying yes. Okay. Okay. Alright. So this is what that is. And this is people looking at it. And it feels so subtle. Like, oh, wait a minute. And then the news comes out from over there. Okay? Crazy. And the Ace of Pentacles is the new expansion, new beginning from this news here. Okay? So the ten of Cups is us finding that out. The exposure, right? Us seeing that. Like, oh, it was substantiated. Like, oh my goodness. This is the collective who, you know. Does the Ten of Cups represent those who voted for Kamala Harris? Does the Ten of Cups represent those who voted for Kamala Harris? Okay, it says yes. Right? And so the Ace of Pentacles is this new feeling, oh, okay, like, oh, you know, new beginnings, new expansion, moving forward, being able to expand on your goals, you know, new opportunities. But it also feels like as we move over here on this side, it doesn't just happen, you know, like it feels like a slow sort of, it doesn't just happen like we find out and then boom, he's gone. It feels like with the Hermit here is the dissonance and the roguery and the treason and all that stuff. Okay, also could be represent evaluation and introspection, but I'm looking at the other cards here, but it's not. It's the things that the fraud, the steal. The Five of Swords is here. Winning at all cost, and there's always a cost. The question is at what cost, like I always say. And the Devil here on the bottom. Okay, so it feels like the devil energy is multiple people as a system that's still trying to hang on to the lie and the power despite the truth coming out. But the Lovers is here, and it's about a decision being made about all this. The Five of Swords, the Hermit, and the Devil. The Lovers on top. A decision will be made. Let's see if they can show me what the decision. Death is on the bottom. Let's see if it comes up. What decision will be made about that? If you could tell me. Can you show me? It's a big choice. Is it the right choice? What decision? The Tower. The Tower came out and fell out. The decision that will be made about this devil, the treason, the Hermit, and the Five of Swords is the Tower. Is that not amazing? Okay. So there you have it. Yes, it will be revealed and substantiated, and the Tower is the outcome. Crazy. Crazy. Okay. Now I'm going to share something with you guys that I pulled from my timeline cards. And as I'm sharing this with you, I've been pulling from the timeline cards because I feel more for some reason the energy, or it's just me in my own expansion. Like I said, I've expanded again. I've felt it. And even you guys have noticed, and I appreciate that. I feel more confident when I pull timeline cards now. The time doesn't intimidate me as much. But as I'm going to show you guys this, I want you to remember what I've said about time. And I want you to remember that this is it's not about when, okay? Don't focus on that. But I just wanted to share what my guides have told me and what I pull, okay? And so the question I ask, when will Donald Trump's beginning or ending begin, rather? And I pulled, this is what I got. Distract yourself from the waiting game and live your life, okay? Essentially. Things will unfold as they are meant to. Okay. Then I got in August. Then I got summertime. Okay. I'm not making a prediction. And I want you guys to take this information with the understanding that things change, energy shifts, and despite this, what I pulled, I don't want to say take it with a grain of salt, because that's not what that is. I want you to remember these first two cards. Okay? Remember that. Distract yourself from the waiting game. Things will unfold as they are meant to. Okay, but I felt comfortable enough sharing. I still stand with not focusing on time, but I do pull from these every now and again. And I felt confident enough to share that with you guys, okay? But we'll see what happens. But I do feel 100% confident in this because the cards just flew. They flowed beautifully. All right. Interesting. Very interesting. With a read 10. Okay. Let's look at gifts for Kamala. Let's see what gifts are coming her way. And then we'll be finished. Maybe I'll give you a message from the universe as well. Then we'll be finished. Okay. Gifts for Kamala. Can you show me? Yes, for Kamala. What is coming her way? What gifts are coming her way? What gifts are coming Kamala Harris's way? What gifts are coming? 7 of Pentacles. The ability to nourish and nurture your goals, your long-term stability and security, your plans, growth. Very nice. Queen of Pentacles. Oh goodness. 6 of Swords. She's locked in her energy. These are the same cards I pulled. Similar cards. And lastly, oh my goodness. Justice. Oh, what's here? 9 of Pentacles. Queen of Swords. Told me to pull again. Look at her shoes. It kind of looks like her. The hair is different. And white. And the shoes. Wow. All good things. Seven of Pentacles, the gift of being able to nourish and nurture your plans, your goals, your stability and security. The Queen of Pentacles, unshakable, solidness, integrity, stability, security. Okay. 6 of Swords, transition, moving into calmness from chaos, healing, elevation. Okay, very nice. Justice, balance, literal justice, integrity, Justice is also about your purpose and your destiny, spiritually. Okay? Gifts coming to Kamala, guys. Nine of Pentacles. My mind just went blank. Nine of Pentacles, security, independence, freedom, being able to invest for your long-term future. Okay? Very nice. And the Queen of Swords. I'm just listening. The Queen of Pentacles and the Queen of Swords. Stability and security and reliability. A strong foundation. And the Queen of Swords. Logic, integrity, fairness, rationality. Okay? Levity. Queen of Swords is known for her sense of humor and her wit. Okay? Truth. Being able to speak and communicate the truth, which has been different these past few readings. Most of her readings, she's had some sort of restriction. But no, it feels like she will be able to speak finally. Okay? So there you have it. Gifts for Kamala. Very nice. Very nice. Alright, guys. I'm going to give you a message from the universe. Because why not? We need them, right? Look at the back of the deck. It's so nice. Okay, let's see here. What message does the universe have for my viewers? And then we'll be finished. Alright, this one wants to come out. Okay, it says, if you didn't get something you really wanted at this time, if you feel stuck or feel like things are not going according to your plans, know that something bigger and better is coming. It's something filled with divine magic that couldn't come into your life if you were to receive what you are asking for now. Okay. Very nice. Alright, guys. That was the final message. I hope it resonated. I hope you enjoyed these readings. I know I did. The energy was very smooth. I will see you guys on Monday. Enjoy your weekend. Please comment, please subscribe, and I will see you guys again soon. Bye-bye. Enjoy your weekend. Do something restorative. Bye-bye.